Everyone in the history of humanity has had a different set of circumstances, a different psyche, different stats, different circumstances. They're playing their own, like every other human being is playing their own unique campaign, and your campaign is different. Your villain at the end of it is different. Your stats are different, your skills are different, your class is different. So play your RPG instead of trying to play someone else's. Helen has reached what most people in the last century would call successful, a family and children. Doesn't that ease her burden? My own situation. So let's start with that question. Doesn't that ease her burden? No. Right? So like the whole thing, like the whole point behind Helen is on paper, she's very successful, but she still feels like a failure. And that's the whole point. Like our emotions and parts of our being don't respond to logic, right? That's not how it works. You have people who, like Devin, for example, who's like plagued with inadequacy, even though, as I understand, he's very successful. I see that shit all the time. I see like investment bankers in my office that make, over $1 million a year and they still feel like failures. Like it's bizarre. But human beings don't respond to logic. If you guys responded to logic, then you're able to figure out what you're supposed to do. And then you're logically, you know what you should do. And then you would do it. But that's not how human beings work. So being successful doesn't actually do anything to assuage our fear of failure or feeling of failure. And my own situation is how to become successful or face failure without the traditional route of family, career. Is that possible? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's possible. The first thing you need to understand is that you're not walking a traditional route, which is fine. So then you've got to figure out your untraditional route. So let me be really clear on this. Like when I said it was my karma to fail, that was my untraditional route. I'm a psychiatrist and I'm streaming on Twitch instead of talking to patients in my office. That's untraditional, but that's what the world needs. The world doesn't need an additional psychiatrist who's going to talk to 20 patients a week and talk to them about depression or anxiety. What the world needs right now is someone to talk to people on Twitch. Because you guys are and it's not your fault, but so much of the world is divorced from mental health resources, and the old model of mental health is just not working. Like Helen has been looking for a therapist for weeks or months, and she can't find one. Something needs to change. And so what I want you guys to recognize is that your untraditional path is exactly where you need to be. If I had not failed, let's say I had a 4.0 GPA and I applied to medical school and I got in, I would not have been a psychiatrist. I probably would have done internal medicine and oncology. The reason I became a psychiatrist is because I dealt with all my own shit. And then that makes me the person that I am today and allows me to help gamers. So what you guys need to understand is cut yourself a break and recognize that this is part of your path. And the more that you accept that your path is going to be your own, what is a traditional path? That's just a comparison to other people, but that's stupid because everyone in the history of humanity has had a different set of circumstances, a different psyche, different stats, different circumstances. They're playing their own, every other human being is playing their own unique campaign, and your campaign is different. Your villain at the end of it is different. Your stats are different, your skills are different, your class is different. So play your RPG instead of trying to play someone else's. And that starts by understanding that, okay, I'm not on a traditional path. Fine. Then start from where you are instead of where you should be or where other people have been. That's the first step. And it's absolutely possible. I'd say the reason that you feel like it's impossible is because you're trying to live someone else's life. You're looking at a system of success. You're looking at a script for success and you're saying, that's not working for me. I can't achieve that. Well, damn right, because that's not your life. That's someone else's life. So start playing your own fucking RPG and see where you get. You'd be surprised. Yeah, so someone's asking, is real life a roguelike? Absolutely. It's some procedurally generated crap that wasn't scripted by anyone, and it's ugly. It's not level 1 to level 2, level 3. It's random crap that gets thrown your way, and you have to learn how to deal with it. Okay. Yeah, so like Dr. Jabri says, I believe people who never felt like they belonged anywhere come to Twitch hoping that they would belong. Absolutely, right? So you live in a day and time where there is a community for rejects. Like, think about that. That's awesome. There is a place you can go where everyone else is a reject. Those are your people. And then the other cool thing for me is that there is literally a platform that causes all you fuckers to coalesce in one place that I can talk to. I don't have to go and hunt y'all down. Y'all come here. Like, that's amazing. It makes my job so much easier. Like, it's amazing the circumstances that we live with. In my roguelike, magically, this platform appears where you guys all show up. And I just get to talk to my computer screen and I hit every single one of you. Like, how awesome is that? Now, you could look at me and you could say that this is a non-traditional road to success. Like, absolutely. Like, thank God. Because if I had to sit in my office and just talk to like individual people talking about their individual problems all day long, like I just couldn't do it. So my personality is also something that I get bored easily. So I can't just be a regular therapist. I have to do something else. So I could have looked at this and I could have said, oh, I can't work for 40 hours a week. I can only work for 20 hours a week before I start pulling my hair out. And I could say that I'm less successful because my colleagues can sit in an office all day and I just can't do it. I need to be better. I need to be more patient. I need to be able to like sit in the same fucking chair. This chair. I can only sit in that chair for 20 hours a week. It's all I can do. And I could have said that I'm a failure by using someone else's standard. But God gave me Twitch, right? So that I can come on here and I can talk to myself. I don't even know if you guys are real or bots. Like, I don't even know. But this works. And so take a look at your life and realize that if you're a failure, it's because you're playing the wrong fucking game. Like, you're going onto the golf course and you're saying, like, I can't hit a three-pointer. Well, yeah, that's because you're not playing basketball. Like, play your own game. Don't play someone else's game. Play your own game. And then, like, see how far you can go if you just play your own game. Accept yourself for who you are. Accept where you are. And then, like, play that game, right? With your stats, with your busted-ass main character, who's got, like, those, like you picked a lot of perk flaws, right? Like, you know that shit that gives you, like, extra points? Like, you picked a lot of those. You picked, like, lazy. And you picked, like, addicted to video games. And you picked, like, body odor. But the cool thing is somewhere in there, you got some positive perks. The problem is you're just not, like, you've got, like, plus 30 skill to, like, guns. But the problem is, like, you never use a gun. So you're not recognizing that you're actually amazing at something. But the problem is that you're trying to live a scripted life. So pick up a gun. Well, don't pick up a gun. That's stupid. I mean, not literally a gun. Like, I don't want this to be misinterpreted. But, you know, like, there's something that you're good at. You're just too busy blaming yourself for not being good at what other people are good at to even stop and figure that shit out. So, like, think about what you like. And now we're going to get to another question. So some people have been asking me, how do you find your dharma? So dharma means duty or responsibility. How do you find your dharma? By looking. By stopping and thinking, like, what is it that you like? So start there. Start there, right? Like, what is it that you like? What is it that you're interested in? Like, I want you guys to think about this for a second. So 10 years ago, let's say hypothetically I was around 10 years ago and I asked someone, what do you like? And they said, Doc, I don't like anything except for video games. And like, I would say, okay, well, sucks for you, because what you like, which is just fucking playing video games all day, is a non-marketable skill. What do you think about that now? Right? Like, holy shit. Prize pools in Dota 2 are larger than any professional physical sport. $30 million. Playing a fucking video game. The world is changing. And just because the patterns of old aren't working, like, let's even go back like 10 years. Okay, Doc, I want to make a video game. Well, that's tough because in order to make a video game, you need to apply for a job at a major publishing company, and there's this whole pipeline, and it's really hard to like break into the industry. You guys know like this game Axiom Verge? Have you guys heard of Axiom Verge? Or Undertale? Like, think about the world that you live in. Axiom Verge was made by one guy. Game is amazing. Undertale made by one dude. Right? You guys live in a world where like you don't have to break into an industry. You don't have to break into anything. The barrier to publication is so low that you can just make something. You can just make it. You can just write a book and you don't even have to get a contract from a publisher anymore. You can just self-publish on Amazon. You can make a video game and just Steam greenlight it. You can just buy a camera. Like, this is what I did. 6 weeks ago, I was like, I want to start streaming on Twitch. I'm tired of seeing people in my office. Bought a couple of cameras. Checked out Tom's, like, he's got this great guide on his website. And then I started streaming. So Big Dude asks, does it have to be good? You're damn right it has to be good. So you've got to work at it. I'm not saying that you're going to be successful if you just half-ass a video game. But that's something that you've got to, like, that's something that you've got to do, right? That's something you can work at. Success isn't easy, but you don't have to follow the traditional model. And you can follow the traditional model too. This is where you start thinking about your career in terms of, okay, this is what I really love to do. This is what I care about. And then you look at the array of options for careers and you pick one that sort of fits. So you could say like, so yeah, I don't know if you guys know, there's an author named Brandon Sanderson. So I love his books. He wrote like Mistborn and things like that. And so Brandon Sanderson, you guys know what his job was? He was the night manager at a hotel, which is brilliant because he got paid for being there. And like everyone is asleep at night over the hotel. So he could just write for like 8 hours a day while collecting a paycheck to pay his bills. And so, like, that's what I want you guys to rethink, right? So you're a failure, fine. Like, how can you make this work? Think about it. And yeah, thanks for linking to Tom's stream. Twitch. And think about really what your situation is and like think about the circumstances of your life. Think about the hand that you were dealt. And it takes time and effort to stop and think about this. Think about what's getting in the way. Think about the emotions that keep you from keep you from pursuing your dream. Like if you want to write a fiction novel, start fucking writing. Forget No Not November. This is like NaNoWriMo. You guys don't know what that is. National Novel Writing Month. So a group of people all over the world sit down and over the course of 30 days, they just write a novel. And they like meet at like different coffee shops and people's houses and they just start writing. It's amazing. Anyway, my rant is complete.